Good morning. I call to order this regular meeting of the Lake Havasu City Planning and Zoning Commission for March 20th, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hennigan, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Matthew Mitchell. Commissioner Susanna Ballard.
Present.
Commissioner Joan DeZuro.
Present.
Commissioner Paul Lair.
Here.
Commissioner Tiffany Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Lonnie Stevenson.
Here.
Commissioner J.P. Thornton. Commissioner Jim Harris.
Here.
Vice Chair Medley.
Here.
Chair David Diaz.
Here. Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, any correspondence and announcements?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the last council meeting on March 12th, you might remember the property owned by Copperleaf up on Victoria Farms Road from last summer of last year. That was put on hold by council while they cleaned up the zoning violations. That returned to council on the 12th, and the rezoning to industrial was approved. So hopefully there'll be something come forward in the near future there. Big announcement regarding our meetings. The city council meetings will be held on the second floor of the courthouse starting next week, and I believe you guys won't be too far behind on joining them there for meetings. So just heads up. Everything appears, I think they're running some test runs right now, is that right? To make sure everything's working as intended before the official meeting. So just heads up on that. That's all I got for now. The next meeting will have several more cases than you have today, but they are not very significant. They're fairly minor cases. So heads up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Everyone received the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any changes or deletions or corrections? If not, looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Commissioner Harris, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner DeZuro. Any more comments? Seeing none, ready to vote?
The motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. All right, this is a public hearing and there is a structured order to this process. City staff will present each item. There will be time for the commission to ask questions of the staff, and the applicant will have an opportunity to present their case to the commission. Once that is done, we will open a public hearing to give community members an opportunity to ask questions or provide input. I ask that anyone who wishes to speak limit their trips to the microphone to once per item and keep comments to less than 5 minutes. Please stay on point and refrain from discussing subject matter not pertinent to the item being considered. There will be an opportunity for the public to address the commission about further topics later in the meeting. After public testimony is taken, I will close the public hearing and bring the item back to the table for city staff's recommendations, further discussion amongst the commissioners, and a motion to approve or disapprove. Hold on. Okay, the first item is ID 244180, adopt resolution number 24-05, abandoning parking in common participation and removing the property from the parking in common plan for 1535 El Camino Drive, track 2194, block 2, lots 4, 5, and 6. Mr. Kearns, your presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is located on El Camino Drive between London Bridge Road and El Camino Way. An alley abuts the rear of the property. The subject property is zoned General Commercial C2 District. The subject properties to the south, east, and west are a mixture of General Commercial C2 District and Limited Commercial C1 District and are used for commercial uses. The properties to the north across the alley are zoned residential manufactured home district and are developed for residential. In 2002, the previous owners wanted to build an addition outside of the buildable area into the area designated for shared parking. The currently approved plan allowed the addition by designating extra shared parking on lots 4 and 5. The currently approved plan was never developed, but due to the Planning Commission action, the area is still designated as shared parking. The current parking in common plan is 67 parking spaces with access from the alley and El Camino Drive. Other properties within this block have already been removed from the shared parking agreement. Lots 1, 2, and 3 were removed from the shared parking agreement in 2022. Several additional properties on other commercial blocks along El Camino Way have also been removed from their respective shared parking agreements. The applicant's letter of intent requests to remove the previously approved shared parking to allow an enclosed storage area. The applicant provided a site sketch which is included, which is this on the board, on what you see here in front of you. If removed from the parking in common master plan, all required parking for any proposed uses of the applicant's property shall be provided on the 3 subject lots, and the spaces may be reserved for their customers and employees. A parking in common amendment application requires initial agreement from a minimum of 75% of the owners of the properties within the block. The applicant submitted approval from all 3 of the other property owners. Staff received no objections from the request from any reviewing agencies. The portion that they built onto is located right here at the rear of the building. And then the other 2 lots where they designated the parking is here. If approved, staff recommendations are: owner is required to comply with all applicable city codes, including driveway locations and parking prior to future development of the property. Non-compliant wall will need to be removed for required 10-foot wide landscape frontage on El Camino Drive as required by City Code Section 140404. 3, owner must amend the deed restrictions to remove the building and parking area designations. 4, on-site inspection of proposed site-specific parking area shall be conducted within 6 months of this approval. This concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is also here for any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kearns. Any questions from the commissioners?
I have a question. Could you
Mr.
speak
Harris.
specifically to the deed restrictions? What kind of deed restrictions are there that need to be removed?
So on the tract when the property was first drawn, there's specific building areas which would be in the front of the property. And then the parking, the shared parking is designated shared parking. So when they wanted to do their addition in the back, they weren't allowed to pass this line right here, the 100-foot buildable area, because of that deed restriction doesn't allow them to build in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
And that's amended with the county on the tract.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here and want to say anything to the commission on this? Please address the podium and state your first and last name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Hello, my name's Jason Mansfield, and I'm just here to answer any of you guys' questions that you may have as far as the usage of it or whatever you need to know.
Commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is anyone from the public now want to address the commission on this item? Anyone? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for staff's recommendation.
Based on the findings, the Development Review Committee recommends approval of land use action number 244180 with the following conditions. 1, owner is required to comply with all applicable city codes, including driveway locations and parking is required prior to development of the properties. 2, non-compliant wall will need to be removed for required 10-foot wide landscape frontage on El Camino Drive as required by City Code 140404. 3, amend the deed restrictions to remove the building and parking area designations. 4, on-site inspection of proposed site-specific parking area shall be conducted within 6 months of this approval. This concludes staff's recommendation and conditions.
Thank you. Does the applicant understand staff's recommendations? All right, any further discussion or a motion to approve or disapprove this item? Anybody?
Make a motion to approve ID 2405 with staff's recommendations.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wilson and a second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we're ready to vote.
The motion passes 7-0.
All right, good luck to you. All right, that's the only item on today's agenda. Now I'm going to open it for a call to the public. This is a call to the public. It's an opportunity for the public to address the commission about a topic not on today's agenda. We are unable to respond directly or have a two-way conversation. If you'd like to speak, please approach the podium and spell your last name for the record. Is there anyone from the public that'd like to address during call to the public? Anyone? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close the call to the public. And Mr. Gilbert, any review of upcoming meetings?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next meeting of the Planning Commission will be on April 3rd. There are 3 cases scheduled, a rezoning off Chenoweth, a couple of minor development code text amendments. One of them is the corrugated metal exterior siding is back from the city council with the recommendation to put it back through you guys. And then finally, there is a preliminary condo plat. Now, it's important to point out why that's happening. On the 27th of February, the City Council approved the text amendments to subdivision ordinance, which moved them to staff review. But the applications that were accepted as complete prior to the 30 days after the approval of that ordinance, so up through the 27th of March, any plat application will still come to you guys because it was accepted and filed prior to the 27th of March, which is the 30 days beyond the approval date. So you will still see a few of these remnant ones coming through, and there will be one at the next meeting for a preliminary condo plat. The building's already being built, under construction. It's just dropping the condoizing lines over it so they can sell them.
All right, thank you very much.
That's it.
Thank you very much. All right, we have no further business, and this meeting is adjourned.